Welcome back, everyone. Let's break down that impressive turnaround win from Fnatic. Starting at the start, as always, picks and bans. Trev, what was the most notable thing for you?
Oh, I felt very strongly about the Thresh pick. First round pick for Fnatic, they locked in Lucian and Morgana. And we were sitting upstairs and we were like, well, we've seen Yellowstar play Morgana, we've seen Yellowstar play Thresh this week already. He played Morgana early in the day, had a great game with it. But the one thing you got to remember is picks and bans, you've got to deny your opponents their favorite champions as well. Had he gone for Thresh, that early game may not have been so much in favor of Roccat because First Blood went to Vander. The dive under the tower went to Vander. Up until 30-odd minutes, Vander was fantastic on Thresh. Unfortunately, the game fell away from him a little bit. But nevertheless, it's just something that I like to see when you can deny your opponent's picks as well as give yourself the best possible. But very importantly, the Shyvana for Soaz proved to be very positive. 2 games on Shyvana today, and both times Soaz in particular stepped up.
I'd also put an argument in there for Kayle, and there's a couple of pro players that have said it themselves. You know, Kayle getting 3 picks and bans is starting to become a serious problem. We saw Overpower there pretty much on max build, and he was killing people so quick. We saw in the Baron pit just how quick he could cleave people down, of course, alongside Sulliver. So there's a lot of damage there, and Kayle's kind of becoming the new super-powered mid laner that people are starting to love. Absolutely,
we've seen it on Jesses as well. When we go from that early game, we see that Fnatic was able to come back in the game, a lot in part maybe due to the Shyvana on Soaz. How much of that is related to the Morgana-Lulu-Shyvana combination that we've seen earlier from Alliance as well? It is such a nuisance.
I would say while it was great, and you're 100% right, the combination, it just works wonders. It gives you so much control, because once you've got that wild growth on a Shyvana, it just instantly prevents anyone getting through her. The problem was really that Roccat just fell to pieces. They had a couple of very strong plays, and then got caught out of position. You know, Fnatic just found opportunities that they pounced on instantly, and Roccat couldn't respond.
And the problem was, of course, once they got that Baron, they caught out. They got caught out in the mid lane. Then they managed to catch Fnatic out in the Baron, who were just trying to protect Cyanide, in fairness, which is why they cluttered up at the back. But when you get cluttered up in the back, you've got a cleaving Kayle coming at you. You've got buckshot and collateral damage coming out of Sullivan, who'd got a lot of damage by then. They basically all grouped up and said, here, hit us with all your AE, and instantly lost 3 people. So once Roccat got that Baron, they probably should have finished the game, but instead we saw Soaz had different ideas.
Absolutely, and what in the end sealed the deal was also a quadra kill from Rekkles, and I feel that this game highlighted a lot of different aspects of Rekkles' play, good and bad.
Yeah, I completely agree. We've actually got a replay to exemplify this. If we pull it up onto your screens, it's much earlier on in the game. Fnatic were starting to fall behind. It was just before this team fight, just after this team fight rather, that Roccat secured Baron. Now, when we roll this clip out, keep your eyes on Rekkles. He's going to start chasing Xaxis and going very deep. So let's roll this one right now. And once again, take a look at Rekkles on Lucian. Fnatic, they're trying to push for the inner turret. Decide that there is a kill on Xaxis, and instead of, you know, focusing down the objective, they dive super deep. So here comes the culling. A flash forward from Rekkles. Now at this point, Rekkles is 0-1-1. He just dies 0-2-1. When we see Rekkles playing games, even when he's winning, even when he's ahead, he's sometimes very passive. You sometimes get the feeling he cares a lot about his KDA. Whether or not that's true remains to be seen.
He's an AD carry.
Of course, but the main thing is, in his playstyle, his Twitch there was great, it was aggressive, but in the majority of time, he will sit a little safe. Unless he feels very confident, he does sit further back. This particular team fight was maybe him coming out of his shell, maybe playing a little reckless, and unfortunately it backfired.
Let's finally quickly touch on what we've seen from Fnatic here in this Super Week as they won the playoffs in the Spring Split. D-Man, what do you make of their form right now?
Yeah, it's interesting because obviously everybody's been saying how bad they started off. And honestly, they did. They started off 0-2, but you've got to realize they've played the top 4 that finished Spring Split. They've come out 2-2. That actually, on record, is not too bad. You know, so overall, it's not been a bad Super Week despite the disastrous start of 0-2 in the first 2 days.
Yeah, I think for me, the biggest problem, the biggest issue coming out of this week is trying to value our teams under-practiced and under-prepared, which is why we're having these swings and why we're having these wild results. And today, we've had pretty stompy games for the most part. Or is it a matter that all of the teams in Europe are just so close to one another in skill level? Unfortunately, it's going to take more time before we actually see how the cookie crumbles. But it has been very interesting, and I keep saying it, there's so much to talk about because you have the #1 team that goes 0-2. They decimated Copenhagen Wolves. They were losing to Roccat, And I would still say Rocket's mistakes allowed Fnatic back in the game. So there's a lot to think about coming out of the Summer Split's first week.
And that's why we love the beginning of the split and the entire split, of course. Now, for a lot of the European teams, watching SKT's dominating victory at All-Star Paris provided a wake-up call for the Super Hot crew. They realized the importance of having an analyst join the team. But will it help bring the players together and improve their strategy?
I think like if SKT can still beat every team fairly easily and they're not even the best Korean team anymore, it means we've really got to step up our entire scene.
It's hard to say if the Western League of Legends teams can actually beat the Koreans ever, because we have a completely different culture. They live for each other, they live to win, they live to compete, and I think the European mentality is still too individual.
I actually think North America has more chance of competing with the Korean teams right now because they've already got multiple analysts and they've got multiple coaches, and now EU's kind of just catching up in that sense. I think we need to really learn more of the macro strategy behind the game before we can beat them.
I think it's going to be hard without more support staff if we ever want to compete with the Asian teams.
If we strive to actually work together with the analysts, work together with each other at all time, we have a chance to beat everyone. It's not like we're less skilled, it's all about us now working together as a whole, while they have been doing this for years. So if we try to be more like that, then we can beat them.
And I think they make such a valid point there. We've been saying it for such a long time that the way that our teams here in the Western world are going to catch up to the guys in Korea, they've got to have the staff behind the scenes. Look at SK Gaming, look how well they did with a full support staff behind them.
I'm actually also just a little bit surprised. It takes them a whole split, it takes them all-star before teams really start realizing, okay, we need an analyst, we need a coach. The summer split last year, teams actually started picking up analysts. We had Fnatic when they went to Worlds, they had 3 people working around the team as well, helping them out. And then going into the spring split, it's like team dropped the idea again. Nobody had an analyst, nobody was like, yeah, we don't need it, we don't need it. Went to All-Star, realized, okay, now we actually need it. So I'm glad teams are now realizing how important it is, but still think it's a bit too late for Europe. I mean, not saying there's no time, but they should have realized earlier.
Well, we are going to be seeing a lot more teams bringing in people. And guys, that brings us to our final game of this Super Week, where the Super Hot crew are going to take on SK Gaming. Yesterday, the Super Hot crew, of course, turned around their fortunes and recorded 2 incredibly big wins against both Alliance and Rocket.
Yeah, so Super Hot crew, they managed to outperform Alliance in the early game and then beat them in team fights with Mr. Riley on Draven, and we had Selfie on Yasuo. And then, of course, we have to mention We Will Failure. His thresh was spot on, and he set up kill after kill with some very beautiful hooks, and he's actually impressed me a lot.
And actually against Rocket, the Super Hot crew fell behind in the mid-game due to a few little misplays on the map. They gave up a few free towers and dragons for Rocket, and they were never really in a position to respond to any of that to come back.
Very true. They did, however, manage to place a sneaky ward. A bit lucky for them, we have to agree, at the Baron, so they spotted out Rocket with their 2-man Baron. They punished him for it, but it was a game they should have lost. So Rocket were in the lead, they deserved, they had done so well on the map, and it turned around. And then it's actually a thing about Super Hot crew. They're very bold in the early game against Rocket. I mean, Selfie and Impaler, they both got caught out of position. They gave up some easy kills. And Impaler said in his interview after the game that Super Hot crew is a team who wants to play very aggressive early on, but it simply needs to be more calculated. Otherwise, it will cost them games.
On the other side, SK Gaming, they've had a roller coaster first week as well. That story rings true for so many of these teams. They began by taking down their old rivals, Fnatic, of course, but were then picked apart, destroyed, if we're being frank, by a very strong-looking Gambit. But then, yesterday, they bounced back again and destroyed the Copenhagen Wolves themselves.
I mean, it was so weird. They completely destroyed Copenhagen Wolves in the fastest game of the 2014 Summer Split. Okay, it just started, but still. And it was at 23 minutes and 34 seconds. And they got ahead early from simply just a failed Wolves early game, and then just really showed how to push a lead and rotate around the map.
Yeah, they showed the same ability to finish games last split, actually, where they destroyed Rocket in 24 minutes and 22 seconds. And SK Gaming is the only team in Europe who really know how to push a lead. And it all comes down to their map movements, I think, being the best in the league.
I 100% agree. I mean, great rotations, a strong pick and ban phase as well. And then Jessis in the mid lane really made SK Gaming, at least also if you look yesterday against Copenhagen Wolves, look so strong. Jess is also in the loss to Gambit. He went 6-2-4 on Yasuo. And then he made this fantastic performance on Kayle, 10-0-4 against the Wolves. And he looks very confident. And it's great, again, to see him expand his champion pool and really show he's a strong mid laner.
See if you can bring more of that to the table in this game against the Super Hot Crew. Let's check out the starting lineups for both teams. On the blue side, it's the Super Hot Crew with Mima in the top lane, Impaler in the jungle, Selfie the mid laner, Mr. Riles the AD carry, and the support, We Will Failer.
On the red side, we have SK Gaming with Freddy in the top lane, Svensson in the jungle, Jesus is the mid laner, Candy Panda as the AD carry, and of course Enrated on support.
And for our featured matchup, we're taking a look at the two AD carries in this clash, both Mr. Riles and Candy Panda.
And both these AD carries here, if you look back to last split, they were the hard carries of the team. Candy Panda, he said himself, we're the only team left in Europe who still plays around the fact that an AD carry, he can carry the team. And they played Vayne, they set up a lot of kills for him early game, and it worked because he would split push, he would make sure he would apply a lot of pressure, and every time it came to team fights, he would be there, he would be very, very strong. Mr. Riles, it was a bit of the same story, except for the Vayne part. He played Draven, we had him on Twitch, of course Lucian, Jinx, a lot of different AD carries for him. And him and Mixer together in the lane would always do well, always to be very aggressive, get the farm they needed, so once they get into team fights, they knew they had an AD carry here, who had all the needed items and could really apply a lot of pressure. And for both these AD carries, the positioning in teamfights is really the strongest point.
So as we get a step closer to the game and towards Champion Select, I want to talk about what's going to be banned out here, first of all. After Jesus' performances yesterday and maybe after Overpower's performance there and a couple of other guys that have done well with Kayle, is that going to be a ban? I
think Super Hot Crew could definitely ban away Kayle. They can take away Evelyn as well. It's been a favorite champion for Svensson. A lot of teams banned away from him. SK Gaming, gonna look more for some of the standard bans, I think. You know, Kassadin, of course, Jax could be an option, take it away from Mima. Maybe even ban away the Yasuo, which Selfie really showed yesterday. He's so strong on. And it's a champion, last bit, which was banned in every single game against him.
Well, you're a bit of a mind reader. Ziggs taken away.
Well, it wasn't the hardest one.
Yeah, okay. That's true as well. Yasuo was taken away as the first ban here by SK Gaming, so Selfie not going to have his hands on that one here today. Evelyn also removed. Svensson kind of cracking his knuckles after that one got banned, so he's not going to get his hands on that. He's been a very impactful player when he's had the Evelyn.
And that's why a lot of teams banned away. The Ziggs ban here surprised me a little bit, because it's actually been open in every single game SK has played in the Super Week, and they didn't pick it. They gone for Kayle instead, they gone for Yasuo as well, so a little bit surprised about the ban, but of course Super Hot Crew must have something in mind.
Well, let's see, they're taking a little bit more time with banning out the final champion of their three, and it will be Twitch, of course. So very strong right now. Candy Panda, as I mentioned yesterday, been playing Twitch even when it wasn't being played by the cool kids.
Yep.
And Jax also a final ban out here from SK Gaming side of things.
So SK Gaming with expected bans. I mean, again, you don't want to give Kassadin, you don't want to give a Jax away, so very standard for them. Means though, with Twitch again being banned away, could be the reason for Super Hot Crew to actually ban Twitch themselves. Didn't want to first pick it, instead take it away, take Lucian, who's next in line of the AD carries, force Candy Panda now onto Vayne, force him onto a Brave, something where you feel like you can punish him.
So, let's see, still plenty of time here for SK to decide that one. The Kayle that I talked about just previously to the start of the ban and pick phase is still on the table. Maybe an option here for SK Gaming, although they have that last pick and may want to just wait and see what Selfie actually brings to the table. Lee Sin here, a definite possibility, a big pick for Svensson in the overall choices these days.
Yeah, especially also with Feral Flare being nerfed, you don't see Nocturne anymore. There's like the champion pool for junglers are smaller now than it was when Feral Flare was a good item and people actually wanted to play these junglers.
Basically, there are 4 junglers, right?
There's basically 4 junglers, yes. At least you have the Sin, you have the Evelyn, and you have the Kha'Zix. So Super Hot Crew now have 2 options. You can go for Kha'Zix or they can go for the Elise to Impaler. And they can also just completely ignore it and just instant-lock Kayle.
Insta-lock Kayle, and Thresh didn't take much longer either. We gave We Will Failer some rightful props, I think, for his Thresh play yesterday, and he's going to continue that trend today, and it means that Selfie going to get his hands on Kayle. What will SK Gaming reply for that one? Will they go for something a little bit more safe in this mid lane? We'll find out now.
Well, so far, the pick and ban base to Super Hot Crew has gone as planned. I can pretty much say it 100% because ban away one of the AD carries, first pick, the second strongest one. Mr. Rallis has played so many times. SK Gaming played Kayle twice already this week. Didn't pick it in the first rotation, so super hard crewed. We're ready to just instant log it. You get the main support for We Will Fail as well. Things are looking very good for them so far. SK over here, they really value this Trundle pick onto Freddy so highly. When Jax is gone, Trundle is going to be the next in line for them also because they know Freddy he can start to split push later on with it.
Third and fourth picks will be something a little bit different. We've seen a return somewhat of Kog'Maw. We're going to be seeing him again here paired up with Zyra.
Paired up with Zyra, so it's a lane-wise, you have a lot of long-range poke here. You put up the plans, you have your W from Kog'Maw at level 6, of course, you have even more long-range poke. And then you have the disengage from Zyra to protect this Kog'Maw here. And if they lock in this Nidalee, again, you have long-range poke, you can siege down the tower, and you have Zyra with the ulti to beat a disengage. You have Svenskon as well, who can stay with the backline here, help them out, and then Trundle just running crazy in the front line, trying to tank up all the damage here. However, normally when you see Kog'Maw, there's often like a Lulu mid with it to help out the support with peeling for the Kog'Maw. Zyra alone could be risky. She's still though a very good pick against the Kayle. Because Kayle, of course, he wants to stay there, he wants to auto attack all the time, and he can't jump towards the backline, so he has to run through the ultimate. And that's where, of course, the Zyra pick can be really strong against the likes of Super Hard Crew.
Only seen one Nidalee coming through so far this split, and as you can see, a 0% win rate up until now. Fact is, well, it's one game, and we know how strong Nidalee is overall. We'll see how it works out this time around for SK Gaming. And I have to wonder that there's so much priority, obviously, on the Trundle that if Kayle was such a big pick for them and for Jesus as we thought it may be, they would have first picked it in their first or second round.
I think they realized, okay, we can go either Kayle, we can go Nidalee, so we have options. We don't need to first pick it here. And then, of course, Selfie hasn't really played too much Kayle, so maybe they didn't expect him to lock it in. Also explains the Ziggs ban from Super Hard Crew, because they don't want to have Kayle in this hard lane. Against Nidalee, it's just a free farm for Kayle. He can get a lot of farm, get going early on, and then try and get towards the late game point.
Well, guys, we're going to check your voting one last time for this week and see how you called it. According to LOLesports.com, you've picked SK Gaming by 81%. That is a big vote for SK.
Yeah, so Super Hard Crew won 2 games in this Super Week here. However, it's been some very up and down games. I mean, some of the games, especially the Rocket one, they should have lost it. But Rocket tried to sneak it Baron, it didn't work for them. Super Hard Crew got back in the game and managed to win. So credit to them, of course. But we need to see SK Gaming. They are by many's idea at least, also my opinion, the best team.
Both of these teams, of course, vying to go tied top of the table. Both currently sat at 2 wins and 1 loss. Who's going to come out on top of this one? Super Hard Crew versus SK Gaming. Get into position. Quick sweep down of the trinkets, and they're all wards at this stage. Nothing different.
No scrying up, no sweeping lens. Everyone also just going to very standard scouting position, so you can see every single entrance from the river into your jungle and can see if something happens here. But Super Hard Crew's pick and ban phase really was interesting. I mean, they've counted for everything, because they knew then high chance of a Nidalee from Jesus when you ban Ziggs, when Yasuo is banned, when Kayle is gone from him. Nidalee is kind of the only champion left. We've seen him play, at least on a good level. And therefore also knew they needed some wave clear, so that's where the Lucian came in very handy, and of course the Kayle as well with some decent wave clear. SK though, late invading. Actually not even late, early invading. I was looking at it, it's like, yeah, it's 150. Nope, it was actually just 1 minute. So basically just going in to put down some wards and trying to force Super Hard Crew out. But here's the thing. With now the trinkets being on the 30-second cooldown or the 30-second mark where you can put them down, you can always ward your own buffs and then move towards the enemy buff and ward them as well. And that's why we see this trinket ward down. So they knew SK, okay, are they still in there? Have to move their way.
Minions have spawned.
Well, it's going to be, I'd say, a guessing game, but with that ward, it makes it less of a guessing game. And a simple fact here is Impaler is actually moving over to the SK Gaming blue buff. We'll see the Super Hard Crew's bottom lane, who've already got them settled in on that bottom side of the map, moving up there as well. So blue buff is going to be taken here by the Super Hard Crew. SK going to be doing exactly the same over the other side. Looks like we're going to see a simple trade of blues for either side. We are going to see a lane swap coming in as well. Zyra, Kog'Maw going to that top lane.
Yeah, it's very good for SK Gaming. Wants to make sure Candy Panda and Reddit can get a few levels before they have to deal with Mr. Rallis and We Will Fail here. So they get the lane swap going. Also Trundle, he farms really well in the jungle. Same goes for Shyvana, of course. So both junglers and top laners can just farm away in the jungle. So it's all about basically the bottom lanes here, or the dual lanes, and that's where, of course, SK wanted to make sure to get some levels on Candy Panda before you have to go against you.
Actually, I heard the low HP ping there. That was Selfie in the middle that must have caught a spear from Jesus. Took him down to less than half health. Both of them starting out
he needs to be careful
with those Doran's rings there.
Svensson and Freddy could come in behind him here. We've seen it before now where when teams don't fast push the lanes so often anymore, it opens up for the junglers and the top laners to actually gang around the mid lane early on here. So you always need to be careful. Jesus himself got caught out against Fnatic actually. First game of the Super Week, where he was just pushing up and Fnatic just walked in behind him at level 2 and killed him.
Selfie himself has also had a couple of problems with that, being too far up the lane. I think but a lot of mid laners getting used to the fact that usually what happens is that they end up going off to the side lanes to join wherever their duo is and doing a little bit of pushing on the tower and feeling a lot safer than they maybe in reality are. This time around though, none of that really happening, and we see the first waves being farmed out nicely. Svensson and Freddy just realizing, damn it, they stole our wolf camp and just left the small one. Impaler though is coming around. They're going to spot him here, but it'll be a last second kind of thing, and they'd already started to turn around. Ward did go down there though for Super Hot Crew inside of the SK jungle.
And Impaler simply showed himself down there, so SK knew, okay, if you want to go defend, there's a chance he will join in. However, it means Maimer in his top lane is left all by himself and taking a lot of damage here from SK Gaming.
Oh, Candy Panda didn't want that to happen. That was a bit of a miscalculation from him, I feel. He's level 3 here, though, and won't burn through that pot that he's got. We will fail, gets pushed onto here. Nice little flare will stop Svensson chasing completely through on that one, and Mr. Rolls obviously was doing damage from the side. Not really a kill potential, I think, from that scenario, but neither team happy for a bit of free damage at this stage of things. Wow, Impaler coming around the middle here, almost landing the cocoon onto Jesus as well.
Very, very aggressive. There was heal onto Jesus and Flash, of course, to try and escape the gank here. My mob in his top lane is just farming for himself, trying to pick up as much farm as possible. Also taking quite some damage, and remember, his teleport is already gone because he used it to get up the first time and pick up the wave. So now Impaler needs to go up there and try and do defend.
Yep, he's going to be the one that goes in, gets himself some farm and XP as well, which I'm sure he won't be too annoyed about. But the move there from Impaler fitted into exactly what he said yesterday and what we talked about earlier, that they like to be as aggressive as possible, as early as possible in these games. And he doesn't get much more aggressive at this stage of a match than going between the two towers to try and gank the mid laner.
And especially so early on, but Selfie now might be in trouble.
Yeah, a little bit too far up the lane. The red buff is on, so the slow's coming in. He'll be forced to flash already. Good damage back, and now Svensson finds himself in trouble. Has to safeguard back off to Jesus.
Still managed to get the flash away from Selfie here. And also actually forcing him to go back to base because he's completely out of mana. So a little free time here for Jesus to farm. Was doing really well on CS so far, keeping even with the Kayle.
Long range poke coming in, and it's a bit of a pain, let's be honest, for Maimer in this top lane. Something that always made the Zyra Caitlyn and Zyra Ashley really
I used to love to play it.
You get hit by... the support basically has one job, and that's to root them up and throw all the plants on them. Your AD carries hammering away as well. Maimer just literally walked to lane since TP was down, lost half of his health instantly.
Yeah, simple as that. That's also why actually he didn't manage to get further ahead of Freddy in farm. He's still ahead because Freddy's been all alone now, also farming down his bottom lane. Pillar's been helping up here. So both the top laners staying fairly even. Of course, when Svensson comes down and the big wave respawns, him and Freddy can go and take it once again and then return to the lane. We are just going to see both dual lanes try and slow push it down to the tower and in the end kill it.
Oh, a lot of damage. There's a hook coming in from We Will Fail. I don't think they've got enough though. Decide not to push on through. Both supports, we should note as well, running with ignites this time around. So no exhaust actually across the map for either team. Just something to bear in mind as we go further on into this game.
So it could be risky for SK Gaming without the exhaust against the likes of a Kayle, but you can of course turn around for Super Hot Crew and say you also want exhaust against the Cockmore. So for both of them, when for Ignite with more the lane dominance, stronger laning phase, especially both of them can actually catch on the target and go all in, and that's where the Ignite, when you're against AD carries with you, becomes very handy.
So this top lane, finally, Maimer has basically given up on that one, realized that, okay, I'm not going to get too much from it. I'm just going to let them have a go on the turret. I'm going to head down into my own jungle and try and get some farm that way. Took himself a wolf camp. and probably going to maybe head down towards the race. However, Blue Buff Invade is on. Impaler, though, is stood on top of a wall. That could be very dangerous. They know that he's going to be coming around, but Selfie is there.
So
he's
smart.
level 6 as well. He's got the cocoon there onto one of them. They actually went to Svenskr. There's a hook actually onto Freddy, but I don't think they're in much danger of going down. Mimer's very, very low coming into this. We've got Nidalee from the side to throw those spears over constantly, and in the end, they kind of dance around each other, dealing a bit of damage. No kills going down, but Super Hawk get the tower, and now they're going for the blue, for the dragon. They already got the blue.
Yeah, so they trade tower for tower in the lanes because they knew the tower was going to go down anyhow, and send Mimer down to take blue off and then start the dragon up with 5 members. So the dual lane from SK Gaming, they're stuck up in this top lane here, and therefore Super Hawk Crew wins out on the early game here. Very, very smart move, especially for Mimer saying, you know what, I'm not going to bother staying trying to defend. I'm just going to go straight to my team, take blue buff, take the dragon. And we already knew, of course, the bot tower would go down as well.
Fast-paced play from the Super Hawk Crew up until now. We can already see their Selfie moving in again to have a go on that turret. Of course, manages to get that blue buff away a little bit earlier on, something that's going to make him a happy man. Svenskr just doing his red over the other side. He's at level 6, so the extra control of that kick will be available. The problem is, it's always going to be very, very hard to lock down this Kayle for long enough with that intervention to actually get a kill.
Especially also because you only bring a knock-up from Enrated, and then Svenskr would have to kick him out of the fight if they want to get him away here. So they rely on the knock-up from Enrated to stop the damage from Selfie. Also why he's going for this attack speed build where he's gonna most likely build a Hurricane and just focus on auto-attacking in the team fights. And I think to notice here, the bottom lane, because it was just the first tower who died, and then Mr. Rales managed to get actually to push towards Super Hawk Crew again. He pulls the minions together, so they target the very first minion arriving from the minion wave when Super Hawk Crew come into the lane. Therefore, Freddy could only pick up one wave before the lane was all the way into the tower, and he had to back away. My mob in this top lane here, he's been able to farm waves all the way up to this tower, so there's a big wave. And now you see Impaler moving up towards this top lane here to dive onto Freddy once this big minion wave actually decides to take the long way around and get spotted by a ward. Sadly not for him. Maybe he might. Let's see what he does here. Yeah, he's thinking about it at least. He could go up there and try and deny the big wave away from Freddy. He will do it. Thank you, Impaler.
His spidey sense is better than yours, apparently, there as he goes left, right, and pretty much anywhere but towards that top lane quick enough. Freddy's already spotted them coming up, and he will back away from it. However, that does mean
he gets denied
Freddy
everything.
is denied once again. Also means that that turret could have a lot of damage coming its way. Meanwhile, SK are trying to capitalize on having a bit of freedom with Elise in that top lane by going in for the bottom lane outer turret.
But this is wrong by Svenskr, and he should have been up in this top lane here to help Freddy out so they could stay under the tower. Of course now, Selfie roamed with Impaler up, so it would have been a 3 versus 2 in favor of Super Hawk Crew, because Nidalee is so weak in the mid lane, she can't really follow up any pressure. So Svenskr instead, he focused on the bottom lane, but it means Freddy got denied so much farm up there, and also the tower is going very, very low. I would like to see him being over in the top lane to help.
That kind of farm underneath the turret is something that you have to guaranteed hit. You can't afford to hit to miss any of those. Meanwhile, Super Hawk Crew moving already very quickly towards the mid lane, and they've done a lot of damage onto that one. Finally, Jesus will be able to get him away, simply because Svenskr had also started to move up there. Super Hawk Crew spotted him early enough and just stepped back towards their own tower.
But both outer turrets now in the mid and top lane are very, very low because they got pushed all the way in by Super Hawk Crew. Of course, Nidalee won't be able to respond with any kind of wave clear whenever there's someone in the lane pushing it. So Selfie could get some damage on it, Impaler could join in. So there's 2 towers now, and Super Hawk Crew, once they just get a small advantage, can kill and then really extend the goal lead.
Blue buff for Selfie. In the top lane, actually, Freddy putting down a bit of pressure onto Mimer. Did actually use Subjugate, his ultimate there, to steal all that HP back from him. Leave Mimer sat at just above half with a pot running there for help as well. And again, you see Impaler moving around, but again, he will also be, well, spotted by a ward, but the trap will do an even better job.
Trap will do an even better job, but Super Hawk Crew can just move Mr. Rales and Selfie into the mid lane if Jesus is there all by himself, because there won't be any wave clear. Same actually goes for this game in general here. SK Gaming, they're gonna need some time to kill the waves. They can't just instant kill them here, where Mr. Rales with his calling can do a lot of, can just clear the wave. Of course, his piercing light together with the auto attacks from Selfie will also help clear the waves very, very fast. Super Hawk Crew won't be able to do the same. Kog'Maw as well need a little bit of time. to actually kill the wave. It means Subaku can always get some damage on the towers and back the wave. We can see them later on here just group in the mid lane with Mr. Rales and Selfie and go straight towards the tower and use the fact that SK doesn't have enough wave clear.
Impaler on this top side has tried very, very hard to get in and have a go at Freddy.
They want to do the same again. They want to again deny him this big wave. He's coming in, also get the tower. Freddy, he's forced to back away. He's losing so much farming experience because he's getting zero help from his jungler.
Where is Svenskun? He's in the mid lane against both Kayle and Lucian, the two champions that you were just 2 seconds ago saying are going to rip through those waves. What is really up for an offering there for Svenskun? Yeah, okay, help his mid laner out with this blue buff. See what his next move is after that one. Bottom lane, the tower's down, and the duo of the Super Hot Crew are not really anywhere near in the any potential ganking room, and Svenskun is just farming at this stage.
Just farming though. I'm not sure if he felt he was too weak to actually go up and help Freddy, or if it was too late from the first time, but for now at least Freddy can pick up some farm while he's pushing the wave down to Mimar again, who can then pick up all the farm and with his teleport can always join in case a dragon should start. And SK Gaming now, due to blue buff onto middle lead, I feel like this is the time now where we need to use our poke and just start grouping up. You got a Fiend, you have blue buff, start to do quite some damage on your spear here, so it's a good timing for SK Gaming.
Oh, they're going to throw a lot of towards Selfie, and actually Ultimate coming out there from Enrated. Is that going to be enough to force them back? Selfie knocked down very, very low. We've actually got Mr. Rawls nowhere near the team here. He's just pushed that bottom lane out. This turret is going down for SK.
SK Gaming, they take full advantage of the fact that Mr. Rawls was just in the bottom lane, sleeping for himself. He was the wave clear they needed in this middle lane here. So it's a free tower for SK Gaming. Very smart move. Dragon is up now. Ulti is gone from Enrated. Won't be ready for the fight. Same goes for Freddy actually. So we need to see if they want to contest this Dragon.
Ward put down on top of the pink though, so that's cleared out. Super Hot Crew got this Dragon down to half HP, and there's no challenge. There might be a spear that comes through here in a second, but probably not going to be enough. Actually hits a Spiderling in the end, and that is the Dragon. Second one of the game going over to the Super Hot Crew.
Doing a good job at least on the Dragons here. The tower in the mid lane is going to be a big one for SK. It means they can get further inside the jungle of Super Hot Crew and play some deeper wards. We already see one of them on the Wraith camp. To really spot out if Impaler is moving somewhere. Super Hot Crew is roaming between the lanes. They didn't invest so much though, they couldn't actually contest for the Dragon, so at least Super Hot Crew got something for it.
I want to ask you a little bit about Selfie's build here on Kayle. Rushed into those Berserker Greaves straight away. Got himself the Stinger and Fiendish Codex now, so headed up towards that National Super Squad. Spent a decent chunk of gold, I'd say, for this stage of the game on Home Guards.
A little bit surprised about the Home Guards here. Of course, when you are against Nidalee, Cockmore, you can take a lot of pokes, so it means if you're defending a tower, you're going to have to go back to base sometimes, and that's where they're going to be very useful. And while I'm talking, Enrated had to flash away.
He had to flash from two things there. Funnily enough, he got away from both of them as well. The hook was good direction and range-wise onto him, and the cocoon was coming in from the side. Flash down, though. We know how squishy Zyra is. Without flash, you're never truly safe.
Never truly safe. Of course, he needs to stay in the backline anyhow, together with Candy Panda and Jesse to protect them. So the flash itself, I mean, we can see when a fight breaks out, but for now, we haven't actually had the big team fight yet. Both teams just been farming away, moving around. Very good point.
At this point of the game, 16 minutes in, still no first blood. However, towers are plenty, 3 apiece right now. And actually all outer turrets have gone down. Want to touch on Freddy here again as we see him on camera. He's clawing back nicely in the CS now. They basically left him to his own good in that top lane, and he's at least utilized what's been basically gifted to him on the play.
Yeah, and they weren't able to continue to deny him farm because there's so much fighting. But Mimar going in and kicks away.
Kicked away, but the play's going to land onto Enrated. That's what I was talking about earlier on. Sven's going to follow through, but that could be the death of him. No, nice work with the safeguard off to the ward at the end of it. That will leave us at 1-for-1. Both supports actually going down.
Both supports going down here. We will fail at use flash as well, but died anyhow. Basically with Freddy here, he's been able to actually move up the lane and get more farm because SK Gaming were pushing the mid lane, so they knew where everyone from Super Hardcore was, and it was very good for him. He could finally get some farm, but now they're pushing on to this mid lane.
A little bit out position here, SK Gaming are. They've got no AD carry, but Candy Panda is coming from the side. They're going to try and focus down Freddy. That's a lot of damage with the Cullis. One more hit to do it himself. He's gone in, uses the intervention, and Freddy got away. Svenskeren comes all the way through, but he's going to pay with his life. But now SK try and turn it around. Flash away from the spear from Impaler. That will be the end of that one.
Wow, unlucky for Svenskeren here. He activated the Sonic Wave the second time, and then there was the flash from Super Hardcore. He went all the way into the team, away from his teammate, and managed to throw down. He has a teleport onto Impaler.
Yeah, this is dangerous. Take the Lantern to where? To Spearville? No, misses. Impaler may get away from this one. Slow down. Jesus comes in from the side. Freddy chomps down though to pick up the kill.
Very nice aggressive play here from SK Gaming, using the teleport very, very smart and punishing Impaler for starting off the blue buff, even though it was very low. Okay, we got some action now, at least.
Yeah, out of pretty much nowhere. We said 3-3 on towers, but no kills. All of a sudden, we got 4 kills here on the board. Let's look where they landed. 1 for Freddy in the top lane, 1 for Enrated on Zyra. On the other side, both kills went over to Mr. Raz. That leaves him almost 1,000 gold ahead of his opposite number, Candy Panda, who, no, he's Cogmore anyway. He's going to be ramping up, and
of course,
he's going to be so strong if they get to that point.
And Candy Panda actually decided to go Trinity Force as the first item, not for the Blade of the Ruined King, which you normally see from Cogmore. But Trinity Force itself is a very good item on him because it means as well, in teamfights, he's more mobile, he can kite around, and we need to remember, he only has N-rated and possibly Svenskeren to help him actually peel in these fights. So he's gonna need the mobility, and I expect him to build Blade of the Ruined King as the next item.
And not even Svenskeren if he goes flying around like he has been in his last couple of engagements. Only 7 CS the difference between the top laners now, just to keep tabs on that. You actually see both of them got that Blade of the Ruined King in. The only difference being a giant belt there for Mima.
You also see for Selfie, he will go for the Hurricane as second item, and it's the thing we talk about. As long as you can stay safe and just auto attack again and again and again, you do so much damage to the 3 targets actually around here. You do splash damage, you have your Nashes of course, your auto attack goes on to them, so you will do a lot of AoE damage as long as you don't get locked down, and there's only the knockup from Invader to actually stop him from auto attacking.
Not much crowd control on the side of SK Gaming. Jesus is working his way, by the way, towards that death cap next after his Athenes, and as soon as you hit that point, those spears absolutely destroy you. There is a spear coming through, not being connected there though onto We Will Failure, and it's going to be very hard for Super Hot Crew if they end up sitting back on a turret. Yes, they do have the heal, of course, that's going to come out from Selfie, but that's probably not enough to sustain through the poke that comes out from SK.
No, and SK is doing a very good job in knowing when to go in, and big fight in the top lane here. Freddy onto Mimer, seems to back away, don't actually want to chase for the kill, but SK Gaming are doing a very good job of knowing when to group up with this Nidalee. Whenever there's a blue buff, whenever we feel like we are strong enough to poke away, they group up and start pressuring down the lanes. But this time around, Mr. Rallis is in the mid lane to defend. It wasn't the first time, he was in the bottom lane just pushing away by himself, so SK got a free tower.
Spears. As soon as the minion wave goes down, they come around with the spears. We Will Fail has done a great job so far of sidestepping all of those, but with spears and then Cogmore coming in, all of a sudden it becomes too much to almost focus on and try and dodge at the same time. And then we see more of them coming in. Not actually getting within range of really going for the tower as of yet though.
And we need to remember, there's a life. Oh, Cocoon landed!
Cocoon lands, but there is a disengage we talked about earlier on from Zyra, from Trundle, covering that middle lane. But
there's
look
no
at Mima, he's coming from behind, but he's got no ultimate to actually dive straight through them, so he's going to have to run away.
It's going to take a lot of damage for this here at least. Needs to back away, wisely enough. No ult, he couldn't actually engage the fight. Svenskeren though, he wants some more.
Chasing on through, big hit from Mr. Raz. There's a spear! Is enough? No, not quite to finish off. Mima going within a slither of dying, and now SK utilizing that to turn straight around and get themselves a dragon. Super Hot Crew can't challenge this time.
And this is an issue for Super Hot Crew. They don't have any hard engage. They need to land a Cocoon, they need to land a hook from We Will Failure, or Mima needs to flank around when his ulti is ready to start the fights here. And it's a big issue because it means for SK, they feel confident just grouping up and start hammering away, just poke away, and they know the only chance they can engage onto us is if they land one of these crucial skill shots. Candy Panda did get hit by one. But Subaru didn't go for it because Mima, he wasn't actually nearby yet. He had just teleported by the time the cocoon landed. So he needs to be careful. But it's the thing for SK Gaming. As long as they dodge these engages, Subaru can just stand back and take all the poke.
Was that a case of showing a couple of nerves there from Mima, saying probably, guys, I flanked around the back, we can probably fight this one. Oh, wait a minute. Don't actually have my ultimate available. I'm going to have to run away. And almost paid for it with his life there. Something that they're going to have to keep an eye on in the.
And also, Freddy had more time to farm. Again, Freddy, for him, he's really done a fantastic job catching up in farm here. He got denied so much CS early on here. He was so far behind. Mima was a lot stronger than him, but then because, again, the pressure from SK on the mid lane, and then just very nice job by Freddy. He actually managed to get back up in farm.
So let's have a look at some more items now then. AD carries, we can see that Candy Panda now is going towards that Blade of the Ruin King with the Cutlass already in there. Trinity Force will come out second after the Bloodthirster here from Mr. Rolls. Other things coming down, that death cap is finished for Jesus. And a bit more tankiness as well for both the top laner and the jungler of SK Gaming.
Yeah, so both, well, actually for all four of them, both junglers, both top laners just need to go towards the tanky route here. Keep in mind, Freddy needs, or Mima, he needs to be able to survive Candy Panda for enough time for his backline to kill Freddy himself here. So it's going to be about both of these frontliners here need to go in, and Impaler taking a lot of damage.
Impaler gone very, very deep. They actually hook on towards Svenska, and there is Impaler coming back down. They're going to try and finish off Candy Panda. They don't manage it though. He's off to the side now, and two men will chase down Mima. That's 2 kills. They went far too deep on that one. Let's see if Ben Rayton can grab anyone else. No, he can't. They get the turret in reply from that one, but the rest of SK are going to be closing in on them. Is the kick still there? No, Svenska used it earlier, of course. They're going to go straight towards Selfie, who will flash away from things. Selfie does have his ultimate available if needs be. I'm not sure that they're going to keep chasing. They will keep chasing though, as we do see the pillar land. Intervention already used, but it's surely going to be timed out. Jesus gets that one, and now it's all on Mr. Rose, who goes dodging into the rest of the team. He can't take them on. It's a double kill for Jesus.
A little bit too aggressive. Used both these summoners here trying to pick up a kill onto Candy Panda. What a fight. I mean, Subaru crew at first. The front line goes in while Mr. Rales and Selfie, they stayed back. They just wanted to kill the tower. They didn't even want to teamfight at this point here. So once Impaler was caught out of position, once We Will Fail joined in, and of course Mima was part of it as well. It was easy for SK to pick up the kills and then chase on afterwards here. So a big win for them. Yes, they lost the tower, got a lot of kills.
A couple of thousand gold only in the lead of this one. We're getting too far away from the half-an-hour stage of this match. Subaru Crew still having the tower lead. You see that they themselves, after that, even though they lost that fight, have been able to complete a couple of items. Hurricane in there for Selfie. The Trinity Force was done and dusted for Mr. Riles, who, whilst he went down there 1 versus 3, did give it a pretty damn good shot, although, as you mentioned, leaves him without a flash and also leaves him without that summoning heal now as well. What are the Superhot Crew planning? They've got a lot of men around that Baron area. I think Fred is at the point where you have to throw probably 3 men at him to actually kill him at this stage as well.
And it's what they're actually trying to do here. Both waiting around. Impaler might try and show himself as the bait. No, they're moving into towards, still actually towards Freddy or the mid lane. They can't really decide for now. Freddy, you are in big trouble.
He's a big troll though. And is he going to get away? Yes, he is. Flash. Oh, Cocoon lands, but they'd already decided they weren't going to be able to do anything about him. And Freddy walks away, drawing 3 men to the top lane. SK thinking about pushing down middle. They've got a peek forward at Baron, which will spot where the Superhot Crew are. That means that they've got some time here to safely go on this turret.
But notice here, Freddy is following Superhot Crew down, so he wants to join in for the fight. 5 versus 5 here. Can Subaru Crew actually get an engage, or are they forced to back away?
Very, very dangerous. Impaler going to take the repel and then the lantern away from it. Mima is the one at the front as the spear lands onto We Will Fail Her. And that doesn't bode well for them as they maybe try to hold on to this turret. Selfie now with that Hurricane, should point out, makes the wave clear even stronger for the Superhot Crew. But the poke is still deadly from SK.
It's not even so much about the wave clear now for Subaru Crew. They need to just dodge around these spears again and again, and they rely on the skills as we talked about to actually start the fight. The Selfie just got hit by a spear here. So you can have all the wave clear in the world. If you don't have any hard engage, the Nidalee is just going to destroy you.
There we go. Another turret for SK Gaming will level us up, but now the onslaught. This is what SK Gaming do best. Once they get their foot in the door, is to kind of move around to the next door and then the next door until they've taken everything that you've got. There's not that much left up for them here though outside the base. Top lane has got the inner turret still there, but the wave is pushed all the way back onto SKs. Similar scenario down in the bottom lane as well.
And Super Crew needs to get some, not deep wards, but at least deeper around the riverside here. So once SK are pushing up towards the tower, Mima can teleport behind him, flank around him, and actually start the fight. Because as long as they just stay back, they won't get anything done and just take all the damage and lose the tower in the end. So they need to get some wards in this river area. So next time SK actually pushes either for the Baron or potentially for one of the 2 outer turrets in the side lanes, SK can flank around.
SK are pinging towards the inhibitor tower there, but they're going to be far too slow to think about that one. The Dragon has already gone down, the 3rd of 4 so far this game for the Super Hot Crew. It's really been those Dragons that have kept them in this game in terms of the gold, picking up a lot of those. Of course, they got 4 towers of their own. They've not done a bad job on that front either.
Definitely not done too bad of the job. It was only the mid tower they lost, which was an issue for them, but they did a great job early game of shutting or trying to shut down Freddy, but then turned everything around and now way ahead of farm for Mima here. Mima doesn't want to even go against him one-on-one, so Freddy can just split push all day long while the rest of SK can just poke away.
Freddy being a real superstar, I think, these first few days of the split for SK Gaming, and it'd be hard to argue against whether he was a superstar in the spring split as well.
I think we can say he was.
Yeah, did incredibly well, which as me, as an Englishman, makes me very, very happy to see as well, that's for sure.
Do we want to get started here? There's quite a lot of Danish players.
Not yet. Selfie here, getting a little bit caught out there. Svenskeren coming in from the side, actually missing the Q, so not following in from that one. SK here can keep going with this strategy that they've had before. Freddy just pushing off towards the side. Don't think Mima can really stand and fight with him too much. We saw that earlier on in that top lane, but the Super Hot Crew actually pushing up a little bit on the mid lane. Svenskeren flanking around the side will actually cause a bit of unrest, I think, in the Super Hot Crew team, and they decide to just back away.
And you see Freddy, once he pushed the wave up here, he actually moved towards the mid lane so he could save his teleport in case a fight should break out, in case SK got an engage. Now he's back to the bottom lane. Just smacking Mima in the head a few times. Mima will back away. No, actually going really aggressive here.
Oh, that is a good pillar coming down from Freddy as well, but yeah. Blade of the Ruin King was still available for Mima. They would have just used that in the end to get away, or if not, used his ultimate then to fly away to safety. Either way, SK Gaming have just moved straight onto this top lane and taken the turret without any kind of problem. There are a couple of men in the mid lane here though. For the Super Hot Crew, SK have to make a choice here. Do they go back? Do they keep going? Looks like they're going to go back, walking back into it though, which is going to mean that Mr. Rawls and We Will Fail are going to have to make a decision of which direction they go. Straight down mid lane, out to the side. We Will Fail comes in, actually lands a hook on towards Jesus, who will leap away, throws the spear, which actually misses. Freddy's going to be coming into the fight in a second. Ultimate out of Zyra, not doing masses as Mima dives into the backline. Both Jesus and then Rated. In fact, most of them are low HP right now, and the Super Hot Crew force SK away.
And everything was just completely split up here. We Will Fail and Mr. Riley, the AD carry and the support, were actually standing behind SK Gaming when the fight started. Freddy, he decided to teleport in. He was too far away to just run into the fight here, so he didn't actually join in time for the big fight here. And SK managed to disengage, but a good team fight from Super Hot Crew here, and also very good job picking up this mid tower when they already lost the bottom one.
Super Hot Crew going Baron side, there's a pink there though. Will be cleared out quickly. And they're starting it. Baron starts 30 minutes and 45 seconds into the game. Spears already coming through. There's a big slow. Hook comes through. It lands onto Jesus. That's a go, go, go signal. But Super Hot Crew, a low HP as well. There's going to be at least one kill, maybe even two coming in. There will be a couple coming down, but we still have Selfie hammering away. His intervention will run out. Svenskeren's already on top of him. We saw Zyra actually recalling out there from that bottom side. Actually, no, Zyra's dead. I'm just lying to you guys about that. Either way, it's a 3-on-2 for the Super Hot Crew.
So on a 3-on-2 here, there was no knock-up onto Selfie, so that's why he could just stay in the backline and did so much damage. Meanwhile, though, Candy Panda as well. Notice him in this fight, he's going to be untouched for a long time because there's no ult in Mima. He won't be able to join him or jump him, but very nice hook from Evil Failure. Instant killing Jets. Then notice Selfie here in the backline. His auto-attack build. Nobody stopping him, just spamming away again and again and again, killing people. Him and Candy Panda in against each other. Both of them have to back away. Intervention from Selfie. And of course, Candy Panda completely out of mana. Sven's gonna just have to kick him away.
Crazy fight there. And after that, both teams like, okay, let's have a bit of a breather, guys. Let's just back away, spend up a little bit of money. See that Banshee's Veil came out from Impaler. I think he's a little bit bored of being hit by Jesus. And the fact is, with this team that they've got, Banshee's Veil could actually pretty much nullify the entire CC that they actually have there.
Well, at least if you get hit by one spear, it's gonna absorb it here, and you don't really want to get hit by multiple spears here. Of course, you should be able to dodge around him, so it's a good item. Also because he needs to do the engage, so if you can avoid the snare from Cyber when he actually tries to go in for the engage here, the Banshee is going to be very useful for him. But the last fight really showed both these comp here in what they can really do and how you can try and stop them and how you can't stop them. We saw Selfie, no knock-ups onto him, so he did a lot of damage together with Mr. Riders in the backline. It was only Freddy around them here, so it wasn't enough for him to tank up all the damage. And meanwhile, you also saw when Mimar doesn't have his ulti, he's not able to jump Candy Panda, so he just stayed in the backline and fired away himself. So therefore, we saw both teams here what they actually need to kill each other, and if not, we saw what happened.
Well, Failer just got hit by a big spear there. Void Staff added in for Jesus on top of that Death Cap and the Athenes from earlier. Meanwhile, Impaler's checking Baron. And here we see the other side of that pink ward that we saw yesterday.
Yep.
You can put it in one or two places. Sometimes, wherever you put it, you're going to miss a spot where a ward is.
Have to put two of the pink wards, man. One inside, one just outside. For now, though, the ward will remain. So there is vision from SK in case something should happen. They're just pushing up his mid lane now. Mimar is in the bottom lane. Teleport is ready. Now he can try and teleport in behind SK if he wants to try and start a fight.
His ultimate, crucially, this time is available for him as well. However, it looks like SK are going to spend this time clearing out Baron. There's going to be at least one recall here, and that man should be Freddy. He did start to recall actually there in that rush, but I'm not sure that he's, or they stopped him at least for then getting away from it. That means free damage basically from Mimar on this top turret. It looks like Super Hot Crew are just going to back away, let Mimar do his thing and head in towards Dragon. I don't even think that Mimar will be stopped by damage here. He himself pulling away as Freddy recalled back into the base. Good move from the Super Hot Crew. Free damage onto the turret and a Dragon.
Very, very smart move, yeah, and also the late game Dragon, so it gave even more gold for Super Hot Crew. And simply just Mimar pushing up the lane by himself. SK too late to react to it, couldn't actually push down the lane because of the Mimar being able to teleport behind them, and at the same time they didn't feel like they could actually do anything, so they just had to recall. Lost 50% damage on the tower and also lost the Dragon.
A lot of wards still there that haven't been cleared out by SK. Finally, we see a couple more pink wards in the inventory. Of course, that will be N-rated coming down with that. He's got himself a 14 carries, by the way. You can actually see that from earlier on.
And let's see here. Candy Panda, his flash is going to be ready just in a few seconds. So this is the time now where SK can start grouping up and say, come at us. We don't even care if you start a fight. Mimar jumps towards Candy Panda. I can flash it and then start dealing damage onto you. Use my Flavorroom King, use my Trinity Force to kite you around so you will never get to me. And it is ready now for him, and we also see SK actually starting to group up and now landing the first spear.
Real Fail has been catching the last few of these, and that surely means that this turret is not defendable. I mean, Thresh can hunt, but it's going to go in their face instant death. And they're going to fight anyway. Mimar dives in. He's already been burst down. He may even die from this one. Intervention was used to keep him alive. There's the hook, but it comes onto Svenska, and another spear will go through, and that is a tower anyway in the end.
Again, we see the issue for Super Hot Crew. They engage. It's just a random ulti in for Mimar here. Candy Panda didn't even get hit by it. He didn't have to use his flash or anything. He backed away. The rest of SK just turned straight onto Mimar. Got him so low, he had to get the intervention and back away. Big issues for Super Hot Crew again. They need to get behind SK Gaming, and they need to get the ulti ready again for Mimar.
So here we're going to see how strong they can hold it. Candy Panda takes a big burst from Selfie. He will fail it off to the side, trying to get in. Flash hook! He hooked the plant! The plant was right in front of him. He ended up hooking that one in, and he may even go down. Cogmore battering him from a range. There is Selfie going aggressive though towards Svensson. Now on Freddy. There's a disengage from N-Rated. Mimar being chased around in circles there, and there was a kill onto Candy Panda. He didn't finish anyone off with his surprise at the end. A 1-for-0, but they hold them off.
And it was actually the cocoon landing from Impaler onto Candy Panda in here that got him very, very low and meant Super Hot Crew could start chasing up here. So okay, maybe you don't need your ulti and to flank around as long as you can land Cocoon onto the Candy Panda, onto the Kog'Maw, of course, not the Candy Panda.
He is the Candy Panda too.
Yes, he's also the Mandy Panda.
Don't know what that means.
What's a Mandy Panda?
Man Panda. It doesn't matter. in reference to Darian calling Candy Panda a man yesterday. Before we get in that. Baron down to half HP. We do have Svensk going off to the side. He's got to be the hero here for SK Gaming, or maybe that's Freddy. He's having a real go at We Will Fail there on the backside. Finished off by the Spear of Jesus, but SK need to evacuate now. Freddy's flashed out of it. Kog'Maw is nowhere near this fight. This could be real bad news for SK. That is a good grasping roots coming out of Enraged, but it won't save Jesus. That is a killer piece here. With We Will Fail going down, Jesus going down. That's advantage Super Hot Crew. They're going to go straight back to Baron.
Yeah, Impaler's been spot on with his cocoons this game here. Multiple ones on the Candy Panda. This one onto Jesus here, getting them the kill so they can start the Baron. 3 members are nearby. Freddy's down his bottom lane. No teleport. He won't be able to join for a fight.
Kog'Maw, Candy Panda coming into it. Wow, big damage onto selfie intervention last second. Baron still having to go at them from distance, and Impaler, you might have to just take 1 or 2 for the team there, because dodging them is going to get you isolated. In the end, Freddy is trolling down in the bottom side. He's got himself inhibitor. It may have a good go on the inhibitor itself as well, chomping down on that. They've sent We Will Fail, who can do literally nothing to stop Freddy. They finally get Selfie down there. Freddy might have to die for this one. He gets the inhibitor though. He is a dead man though.
What a hero though. He gets the inhibitor. He walked all the way from the Baron down, and now SK Gaming to start the Baron. Impaler is nearby, however.
Now Impaler has to be the hero to stop this one from happening. We are going to see Nidalee coming around. Super Hot Crew are charging up through their own jungle to try and get there in time. Teleports are coming in as well. Impaler zoned out by Candy Panda as Mima dives in. The Baron is low. The Baron goes to SK Gaming. They're going to try and flash and get away from it. They'll lose 1 man. Candy Panda goes down after killing off Impaler, we should admit. But 3 men will survive there with the Baron buff.
So SK Gaming here sacrificing themselves to pick up both the inhibitor and now the Baron. Big win for the Mark Trekti. A lost team fight. Just by Freddy running to the bottom and then Candy Panda coming out from the base with full HP could stop Super Hot Crew. The 4 members doing the Baron here, and then everything just turned around for them, and SK Gaming picked up a big advantage now.
What a game this one is turning out to be. 40 minutes we're about to hit. And there's not much of a difference in gold there. A lot of very big tactical decisions. Freddy saying, okay guys, I'm going for this one. I am going for this one. They sent We Will Fail alone, and you have to feel if 2 men would have gone there, they would have been able to stop Freddy from doing that before he'd actually finished biting away and killing off that inhibitor. In the end though, they were scared that that Baron was going to go down. They lost the inhib. They lost the Baron as well in the end.
And I think they simply got surprised about Candy Panda coming with full HP. I don't think they realized actually that he ran all the way from the base and therefore could stop them from doing it, because as soon as he showed up, they had to back away from it instantly. There was a lot of damage onto Self. He had to intervention himself. And from there on, with the inhibitor down the bottom lane, with Freddy already killed the tower, it was too late for him to actually react in time.
Dragons up. And Super Hot Crew will have that one away, but SK are already moving down this mid lane. That's 5 out of 6 dragons, by the way, this game for the Super Hot Crew. Super Minions will, of course, be pushing bottom as well. SK Gaming sat waiting here in middle. Fact is, though, everything's gone. We Will Fail is waiting off to the side to see if he can land a hook.
And no flash on the Candy Panda yet here. Look for the Cocoon and the hook onto him. He's been hit a few times already.
Selfie being ripped to pieces. Has to use a very early intervention, but look at that. Jesus right in the middle of the team. We Will Fail are going to hook one. He gets knocked up in the process. Jesus trying to run away. Uses the QSS on himself, but that's a double kill coming in for Mr. Rolls. AD carry and the big tanky Trundle have gone down. This could be real bad news for SK.
And again here, Super Hot Crew finally managed to get around SK Gaming. They're flying around. It was We Will Fail at this time, so Mima jumped in, and then We Will Fail came around here to lock him down with the box, with the play. Notice him, he's actually out of the picture now. He comes in up here, comes in behind, multiple members, play, box, everything. And even though there's a Cyber Ultimate hitting multiple members, everyone from SK is caught. There's no flashes ready for them. That's why, as soon as they get locked down, Super Hot Crew can just pile on to them here.
Oh, Super Hot Crew, I was going to say, need to be careful about their base here. Super Minions are going at it. They're going to take one down. Bad news. That was not been part of the plan from the Super Hot Crew. They got themselves a couple of kills. We're thinking maybe we can push some towers of our own. In the end, they go back to defend and still lose one of those Nexus turrets. So SK, although they lose a couple of men, the work that they'd done previously, taking down that inning where Freddy went man mode, doing the work for them.
And this time around, there's flash onto Candy Panda, flash onto Enrated and Freddy. So at least this time around, when they engage come from Super Hot Crew, they can flash away and then start turning around, put down the sidewall, trade all the damage from Candy Panda. And they simply also just need wards on the sides when they decide to push down as 5 members.
So SK, what's next from them? Starting to push out a little bit more on the map, stealing away some of the Super Hot Crew jungle, which becomes less and less important as we go on. Of course, a lot of these players working themselves up to 5-6 items. That may continue here. Who knows how long this game is going to progress. The Super Hot Crew digging in deep, coming up with a couple of good team fights. Bottom inhibitor has respawned. Generator will try and zone the Super Hot Crew away from this one.
And he actually got quite some damage here. We have Void Staff onto Enrated. Also some more Magic Pen, so he actually does quite some damage if he lands some plants, lands his ultimate onto Super Hot Crew here, so we need to see. Still, look at Mime up here in the top of your screen. He wants to flank around him once again. It is the engage for Super Hot Crew. They always need a guy to come around, or again, they need to land Cocoon or Hook.
And Rater going to be tasked with, first of all, getting rid of the Banshee's Veil from him, so that the spears can later do some damage. SK continue to move through. They know that it's going to be dangerous to actually go further than the steps, because that's when Mima is just going to come charging down and have a go at him. As I said, it's Enrated that's trying to keep them away from that one. There's the pillar coming in. Hot will go through, but it misses.
And now flash on every single member. Even Jesse's got his flash ready for the next fight here. Same actually goes over for Super Hot Crew side, except for We Will Failure. He won't be able to flash in with a play or a box to lock down multiple members, which could be one of the needed things for them to actually lock down this very mobile Kog'Maw. Well, not very mobile, but very fast Kog'Maw. Of course, he doesn't have any jumps, so in that case, he's not very mobile.
They just lost the turret here. SK Gaming there is that Banshee's finally got ridden off, but you know, it doesn't even take that long anymore until that comes back up. They need to deal with that big wave on the top side of the map. Jesus will be the man that is charged with dealing with that, and the second wave will be coming across straight after that. This is a time where the Super Hot Crew have to make as much ground on the map as they can, push those minion waves right out.
Get as much farm as possible as well. They really need Mima here. He's been behind actually for quite a while to Freddy here. He's now building towards the Sunfire Cave. He just needs some more tankiness, so he can tank pretty much all the damage from Candy Panda once he actually engages on the fight, because he's gonna be one of the people going in first. And we simply just need to see if both teams want to wait for the Baron here, what SK Gaming wants to do. Do they want to go and put up a lot of water around it, try and bait it out, land a few spears, get someone low from Super Hot Crew and then take the Baron? Or is it Super Hot Crew who's going to take control of the river and try and force SK Gaming into a bad situation? Because if you can get Nidalee into a situation where she needs to engage instantly, she won't get to land her spears, won't get to land her poke, she won't bring too much in a team fight. And that's where Super Hot Crew has a chance if they get full control of this area around the Baron.
Honestly, this game has thrown us so many curveballs already, I'm not quite sure what's going to happen. Do know, though, that Freddy's down in the bottom lane again. That inhibitor wide open. Both top laners do have the teleport available, so they can counter each other out on that front if they react fast enough. Super Hot Crew pushing up. There's a big spear on Selfie. They've got the whole Candy Panda instead. That could well spell disaster here for SK Gaming. The AD carry down for them. How are they going to hold on now? Super Hot Crew seeing their chance. Mima doesn't want to tank up too much damage because he's going to need those help. If the spear lands, we see it there onto Selfie, down to hardly anything. The next one is going to flash by. Are Super Hot Crew going to go for the win here? They've caught out Freddy. There's the ultimate. There's a kill at the back though, and SK Gaming are going to try and fight them away from the base. Well, there's a lot of damage. There is Svensson. He kicks Mr. Ross back. They lock him up. They finish him off as well. Have they got more damage for more of these kills? Mima's still pretty healthy. We Will Failure the obvious target. He will in fact go back and be the sacrificial lamb. But then Rayton flashes on through. Definitely doesn't have enough damage to kill Mima. Svensson should have the damage to kill Impaler if he didn't land a clutch cocoon and walk away.
And this was without Candy Panda, who once again got hooked or cocooned too many times this game for Candy Panda here. He even had flash. He could have flashed away from the hook from We will fail it, decided not to use it, went down, but then everything got turned around here. Selfie died in the back, intervention was still up because Jesus landed a max range spear onto him. He was already poked down. And then with Svensson coming in behind SK, managed to get the kill on Mr. Morales and win the fight for SK.
As I said before, no idea what's going to happen in the long term of this game. As Mima comes in to disrupt Baron a little, will be forced away. Baron did reset actually. So that's kind of wasted time on that one for SK Gaming. It's going to bring Impaler around, but Candy Panda, the first victim of that last fight, has respawned in, and he does absolute masses of damage. And there is Mima ultimating right into the middle of the team, but he's going to pay the price. Svenskeren gets that kill. Baron wasn't reset this time around, and they're going to be able to kill it. But look at the SK Gaming base. It's full of super minions. They're losing the Nexus turrets. One is already down. They have to recall. The Super Hot Crew going to try and keep him in position here. Selfie himself will use his ultimate on him. He does go down in the end, but both Nexus turrets are now dead. SK Gaming need to recall from this one. They've got 2 super minions coming through. They're actually going to push here. It's Freddy that's going to go back. Super minions are already on the Nexus itself, but I think that Freddy is going to be fast enough from that one. Freddy is moving in there now. SK are pushing in towards the base. The Nexus of SK has already lost. They need to go back. They need to go back from it, and Rayton comes in. Spawn. They're safe. They're safe.
Oh, Joe. The minions spawned for them. They can focus on this inhibitor now here. Take it away. Destroyed, and all the super minions now are gone from the base of SK. 2 members to defend, and now teleport from Freddy coming in. They want to go for the finish.
They want to try and win this game right here, and you have to feel that they're going to with that numbers advantage. We will fail, it will be singled out and finished off. Both Nexus turrets go down.
Wow.
SK come in, take the Nexus. So close to losing it to super minions right at the very end.
Absolutely.
What a game.
Insane ending. First, Freddy went back to defend it, realized we need more, and raided, recalled. The Nexus was down to 40% HP before they got all the super minions away. Their own minions spawned as well to defend it, and then they could just teleport down and finish the game. Wow.
I told you I had no idea how this game was going to end. Yeah, I was pretty much spot on with that one. A crazy ending to what was a fantastic game. You can see SK there, relieved. They made hard work of that one. Credit goes to the Super Hot Crew as well, though. The finish here, their first Super Week at 2 for 2. They put up a great showing in that match too.
They definitely did, but we have to say, Candy Panda made it harder for SK Gaming in this game than it should have been. Multiple times he got either hooked in, he got cocooned by Impaler. Subaku could engage on, actually win the fight here. Still, SK Gaming, they showed in this game, they knew exactly how to play the siege comp, they knew exactly when to group up, start pushing down towers here, take some objectives. Even though Subaku started out getting all the dragons, and also of course with the kill, we knew in the late game they would be so strong. And what an ending.
What an ending to Super Week. We were hearing on the desk a little bit earlier on that the games have been a little one-sided today. This more than made up for those matches, so a real thriller to end the first week of the summer split. And SK Gaming, we have to give them their real dues here, because they lost the first game against Fnatic, win 3 in a row though, sat at 3-1 after week 1.
Won the first game.
That's true, they beat Fnatic.
They lost to Gambit, however, which was a bit of a weird game for SK because, well, we know they're often weak in the early game, and Gambit really took full advantage in the game. They still showed some good team fights, sure they tried to come back in the game with the full physical lineup they had against multiple armor items from Gambit. There was nothing they could do late game. However, in the other games here, of course, as you said, picked up 3 wins, and as a team, rotation-wise, pick and ban-wise, they are very strong. They're clearly a team who prepares well for the games. We know a lot of their players on this team. Also, Freddy actually does a lot for the team when it comes to picks and bans and calls in game. Freddy makes a lot of them, so we need to give him full credit as well. So they have a lot of smart people in this team, a lot of people working around them, and it shows. I mean, they are, at the moment, if not the best team, at least one of the best teams.
So I want to harp on to the interview that we had with Candy Panda, where he said, we've got one big thing to work on now, which is closing out games. We're going to try and focus on that over the coming weeks. And if that wasn't an example of needing to work on closing out games, then I don't know what is.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. They had the actually had a pretty good lead in this game where they were grouping up and sieging down towers. But that's again where we talked about only way for Subaru to engage, either flank around or land one of your skill shots onto an important target. And they did. They land on the cannon defender again and again. So that's why, again, they couldn't close out the game. And we got this very even and epic match going on where they almost lost just to the super minions.
Well, big congratulations to SK Gaming after a fantastic win in that one. We have Shocks and Quickshot ready to talk to SK Gaming's end rated after that thriller, so let's check in with them.
Thanks very much, Joe. Wow. SK thought we're going to give one hell of an ending to Super Week, and that you did. Walk me through the ending of that game from the moment that Candy Panda gets hooked and you almost lose to pulling it back.
Well, basically we knew they were pushing out through, so Candy got hooked and died. They were 5-man group mid, and Jessus managed to land the most important spears this game. So Kale got chunked, Kale had problems. We managed to come back and catch Mr. Rallis, and at that point with this last spear he got out, it basically all decided like whether we lose this game or not. And we got it out, and that was basically like all that made us win this game in the end. There was just those 2 spears of Jessus.
What was the communication like on the team? I was looking at the player cams when Candy got caught. He had his hands on his head. He was down in the dumps. What was the rest of the team like?
Well, let's say we were 90% sure we're going to lose this match, because in a straight-up 4-on-5, we lost at least that inhib. That inhib was surely lost. So everything after that was more of a risk that they took. They could have went back and went for Baron or attempted another push, but they decided to go all the way through. And we managed to hold on and came back from that, which is already like not very easy to done.
Well, it was an incredibly exciting game. Back and forth, you guys lost the early game, pulled back in the mid, lost lead, pulled it back, etc. I want to ask something very specific about the Zyra-Kog'Maw interaction. We feel that Zyra into Thresh is a pretty good matchup. Why the picks today in conjunction with the rest of the composition?
Well, we wanted a scaling comp. So first of all, we decided to go for a non-laning phase because our lane matchup was very, very good in late, so we had a good scaling. We just went for a lane swap, dodged the laning phase, and around 5 or 6, we really managed to pull ahead on them, because Kog'Maw is just outscaling Lucian at some point very hard. And we just said we keep it calm and the laning phase safe, because we had Nidalee, Kog'Maw, and Zyra, and after laning phase we would win anyways.
Well, incredibly close game in the end. Let's take a step back and look at the league in general. You guys, of course, have 4 games under your belt. What do you kind of make of the best teams right now in Europe? What do you see happening this season?
I feel it's very hard to predict anything, since the season has just started and you don't know how much practice every team got in. I feel it's just going to be a matter of weeks to basically determine, and we will see it in the standings, which teams rises and falls. It's just going to be all up to practice that we get in the next weeks.
I'm interested to see how that plays out. I want to ask quite specifically about SK. You guys are not particularly strong in the laning phase. A lot of games, even in the spring split and this week as well, you fall behind early. You did it to Fnatic, pulled it back. You did it to Super Hot Crew, pulled it back. Why? What's up with the early game or the laning phase at SK Gaming?
We just stand a bit shaky. I think within the next week we will fix the issues that we have and we'll come up stronger, a lot stronger. I feel our team communication and everything with rotations and strategizing is very well right now already. And we just got that from the last split, and took it in this split. And it's just going to keep on going like that. And the only thing we have to fix are individual mistakes and in laning. Just have to stand stronger, and after that we'll just be a stronger team.
All right, can you name one thing specifically that you want to work on with Candy? Because again, with Kog'Maw, which is a very immobile champion, he still did very good. We're forgetting that hook in the end right now.
Always try to expand your champion pool.
Always try to expand your champion.
That's a nice one, actually. I want to kick off that question. 4.7. This is the first time that we've seen it here in the LCS. 4.8 is coming out. We're seeing some shifts in champion patterns. Support is seeing a lot more play, at least in the last couple of weeks. What's your take on the health of the number of champions that we're seeing in the meta game at the LCS level?
I feel it's a bit static. Some champions are very versatile and you can pull out certain champions against it. It's just depending on the matchups. I feel there's a lot of champions that are viable right now and you just need to pull them out right. For example, Zyra against Thresh is a really good matchup. On the other hand, there are a lot of new heroes, champions coming in. In this case, Braum, for example.
Do expand. We would like to hear your opinion on Braum.
Braum is very strong right now. I feel there are other champs as well. For example, Morgana versus Leona is a really good matchup. They're just matchups that you need to know and how to play them out.
Yeah, what about support Kale with Runon's Hurricane? It's the trend in mid. I'm asking the support Kale player. Will you see her back in your hands?
Well, Kale maybe, but Runans on support is just too much.
Come on, why not? Okay.
I know you could pull it out. But anyway, thank you very much and rated. Very good performance from SK here in Super Week. Congratulations once again. And now it is time to head back over to Joe and the Fee Show to wrap things up.
Thank you very much, guys. And with that match over, let's take a look at where the teams stand at the conclusion of the first week here in the summer split. Who would have guessed it? It's a three-way tie for first. Alliance, Millennium, and SK Gaming with 3 wins and 1 loss. Then there's another tie in second, or not really for second, for fourth, where Fnatic and the Super Hot Crew are 2 for 2.
And then in the 6th place, we have another tie, of course, as the Copenhagen Wolves, Gambit and Rocket, they all have 1 win and 3 losses.
Yeah, and we've seen 16 games over the past 3 days, which has given us a pretty good look at the players here. So here are the pros that managed to make the most impact in their position. Starting off in the top lane, Kevin.
There's not too much to say. I mean, every single game in this Super Week he's been solid. Last split, he led the top lane with 68 kills, and this week he already picked up 1/3 of it in just 1 week. So 20 kills in 4 games. He's been absolutely fantastic today, or this week.
This week, indeed. And the jungle, Cortenex, what a beast he was.
What a beast, and we talked about him before the Super Week started. In the promotion series, he was the guy for NIP, for Millennium, of course, to beat NIP. He's certainly not the guy for NIP. And he's just continued to do the same thing here. Every single game, he puts so much pressure on everything. He's very good at stealing the dragons here and generally getting objectives over to Millennium. And also, he makes a lot of good calls for the team.
15 dragons in 4 games he took. That is an incredible, incredible stat. In the mid lane, he's earned you guys 1.5 million fantasy points, I think, this week. Not you, though, and not me, and not Trevor, because he's on Trevor's bench.
Yeah.
It's Kerb, of course.
It is Kerb, of course. All week long, he's just been dominating completely, and he's just impressed everyone with fantastic numbers. He made over 114 points. I believe he was projected to maybe do like 30 points, and he's done 114. It's absolutely fantastic, and of course we continue to go with the Millennium trend.
Yeah, Creaton, again, fantastic week he's had, looking like a new player.
Looks like a new player. Millennium as a team looks like a complete new team. That's why these players get the OP players of the week, because nobody coming into this split expected Millennium to do so well. Newfound motivation, especially for Creaton here, means he's been doing so well, playing a lot of solo queue. Entire Millennium team needs to keep this going here, needs to perform. We of course have to give a small special notice to Taps. He did fantastic for Alliance as well, and he was the next in line for OP player here.
Well, while we're on the topic of Alliance, the support player of the week is Nif. He was incredible once again.
He was fantastic once again. The hooks landed left and right. He's so good at landing these crucial skill shots here, setting up kills, especially with Shook as well, 4 lines. And if you look back to the Fnatic game, he was the guy who started the fights. Every single time he landed a hook onto the right targets, set it up for Alliance so they won, and he's just been playing fantastic.
And of those 5 players, one has managed to stand out above the others. So our week 1 MVP will go to Millennium's mid laner, Kerb.
Really nothing to say. I mean, he's been so fantastic. Every single matchup, he won the laning phase. He plays these assassins here. He used to do it in the start of the last split, where it actually worked out for him. He often got a lot of kills, tried to carry the team. Been working out for him now in this split here.
And we actually have a clip showing one of the reasons why Kerb is our mid laner MVP is he flattens Gambit.
I apologize. I made you look at the minimap and then there was a dead bug.
And indeed, flattened, I think is the right word.
And LeBlanc was actually a champion that was banned so often against him. Now he got to play it. He really showed again, you need to ban this champion because I'm so good. We saw him dodge around the Syndra balls as well. So Kerb on LeBlanc, Kerb in general this week, it's been fantastic.
You can't ban all the champions that he plays.
Ban the player, man. Remove the trackball.
Get rid. Ban the trackball, if only they could. And guys, as our own Super Week comes to a close here, North America begins the summer split with their own Super Week tomorrow. Their day will start with Cloud9 facing off against Team Solo Mid, and Curse will go up against Counter Logic Gaming.
That is followed by LMQ against EG, and then we have Complexity versus Team Dignitas. And day 1 will end with Counter Logic Gaming taking on LMQ. Those matches, they kick off on Saturday at 9 p.m. Central European Time, 12 noon Pacific.
And the European Summer Split continues next week here in Cologne, Germany, right after a brand new preview show. The matches begin with Fnatic taking on Gambit Gaming, then the Copenhagen Wolves against the Super Hot Crew.
That is followed by Millennium taking on Alliance, and the day will wrap up with Rocket versus SK Gaming.
Those matches will begin on Thursday, May the 29th at 6 p.m. Central European Summertime, 9 a.m. Pacific, and you can get the tickets to join us here and watch the action in person. Just visit lolesports.com for a look at the schedule and check the tickets link at the top of the page. And for myself, Deficio, Shox, Demon, Quickshot, and everyone on the LCS broadcast team, GG, and thank you for watching. We'll see you soon.
Collects up 4 members. It's a good ultimate coming out there. Wildgrowth bounces them in there. Froggen gets quickly shut down, but Gambit are falling like flies as Tabs comes in, rat-a-tat-tatting his way through and picking up a triple kill. Yellowstar's going to drop. Is he? No. Reckless does manage to get himself a kill. Airwax now in trouble, taking 2 tower hits, and now he's going to catch on towards Yellowstar. Doesn't get it! Nemesis. This is going to be an easy kill picked up. Kevin this time around. Curve comes around the back edge, is in trouble. Tries to lock in. There is that Sonya's Hourglass. And that was a triple kill for Kevin.
Here comes Curve.
This is not a done deal yet. Contest comes in, steals it. Diamond in trouble. He goes down.
Don't kill him, man. My points. Don't. My points.
Fantasy points, dude.
Don't. I can't catch him. Don't.
Fantasy points.
I can't. Yes. No.
Delay center.
Self has been ripped to pieces. Has to use a very early intervention, but look at that. Jesus right in the middle of the team. We will fail. They're going to hook one. He gets knocked up in the process. Jesus trying to run away. Uses the QSS on himself. But that's
and they lack a lot of damage. Like, they won't be able to kill us.
Keep going, team.